What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast, Rivalry Week. All right, it's your boy The Don. My co-host Rick Flex. He's MIA tonight. You know, corporate America got him tied up. So, hey, I'm gonna hold it down for him tonight, alongside with Atlanta Falcons Nation KStylz. He's also a huge Georgia Tech fan. He also covered Georgia Tech content on his own channel. Let everybody know who you are, KStylz, and where they can find you.
Like I said, basically all my social media handles, just KStylz. Also, make sure you follow Atlanta Falcons Nation, YouTube, all platforms too. And if you ain't follow FILA Sports over here, you better follow 'em.
That's
Your boy
facts.
Don got some stuff for you.
That's facts. Appreciate you, man. All right, and then we have brought back the Fighting Irishman content creator. I said D because I don't think anybody better than this man. Connor McJunkin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back. It was covered the Notre Dame Georgia game last year and had a lot of fun with that. And excited to talk some Notre Dame Georgia Tech. You can I write for slapthesign.com. So if all my work that I write for them is over there. And Twitter, I'm just Coach Junk at underscore UC. That's where you can find me tweeting about Notre Dame and talking about them, and just excited to be back on and ready to talk some football.
Let's get to it. Hey, everybody who knew, y'all already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. Also, press that like button, share this content out with other college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. All right, if y'all not following us on social media, make sure y'all follow us on Twitter at FILA_SP. Follow us on Facebook at FILA Sports Podcast. And also, you just want to check the audio out. Hey, we are also on Apple, Spotify, and Google Play. All right. News for the week in Georgia college sports. UGA. Kirby Smart, he came out. He said that he's going to stick with Stetson Bennett as the starter. So, hey, I guess at this point they're going to live by and die by him. So, hey, that's fine. Hey, I can't be mad at it, but I feel like JT Daniels should get a shot soon. So, no really big news came out of Tech or Southern. Georgia State, however, the head coach Sean Elliott, he signed a 3-year extension to stay at Georgia State. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. State just looking good offensively, man. Like they're like in the top 10 as far as points, scoring points. And that you talking about teams like Bama and Clemson and that's scoring a lot of points this season. They're top 10 and they are in that company. So if they can just somehow figure the defense out and stop teams from scoring, hey, who's to say, man? Georgia State can be a top 25 team in the next season or two. All right. Scores for this past week. Georgia State, they barely got out of that game with a win. They won 36-34 over Arkansas State.
Okay.
Oh, no. Did I play Arkansas State? No, that was Troy. I'm sorry. That was Troy. All right. Georgia Southern. They end up losing against Coastal. 28-14. And Tech, I ain't think this game was going to be like this, man. I really thought it was going to be like a 7-point, 10-point spread. But Boston College, man, they came out for blood and they won that game 48-27. KStylz, man, what's your thoughts on that game, man?
Man, that game, boy, they just ran it down our throats. And, you know, you could, like I said, you could tell Tech is still in that rebuild stage because you're still trying to change this culture from this triple option to this more pro style. So it's gonna be hiccups for these first couple of years because, like I said, that Boston College game, Boston College they didn't really beat us in the air like that. They just ran the ball and we were missing tackles, poor tackling. I know this defense wants to be aggressive and make the big play, but just sometimes that fundamental players save a whole lot of trouble.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people upset about, and then some people asking for Collins to retire and step down. I'm like, he's 2 years. Get a man at least 5 or 6 years. Get a man 5 or 6 years. These are Paul Johnson guys that's still on this roster.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And I heard some people said that, you know, it's just a few people. They said that the defense is horrible, but they said that if they can bring in, listen to this, I laugh, but it could work. I don't know. They say if they bring in Dan Quinn as a defense coordinator, well, I said, man, y'all.
Before you finish that, are you sure y'all want to go down that route?
He might be good at the college level. He may be good at the college level.
I didn't think he was allowed in Atlanta anymore. I thought he was done. Get him out.
What? I mean, it could work. We don't know. Like I said, he did coach kind of like a good enough defense down in Florida.
Yeah, Florida had a good defense on him.
Yeah. And like I said, like I said, these people that's talking about getting rid of Jeff Collins, he's doing the one thing that Georgia Tech hasn't had in almost 10 plus years, and that's actually recruiting good players.
Yeah, they got Weston Franklin, like one of the top left tackles in the country. And he went to Wayne County. I know the boy. He was in my class. You know. And they got him. And that's the thing. It wasn't even they didn't even have the bet. He wanted to go to Tech. I'm like, man, you should have went to Michigan. But hey, that's another story for another day. But hey, you know, kids now want to go to Tech. And y'all are, I don't understand. I don't know if people understand how hard Tech is academically. That ain't no easy school.
Nah, because I tried the entrance exam. They told me to don't even fill your name out.
Exactly. Like I'm telling you, when I applied, look, man, I ain't even apply. I saw that stuff, man. I had to race out. It said Georgia Tech because I written down Georgia Tech as a school. I had to race the Georgia part and just write Atlanta area. That's that's the only.
That's why I ended up going to anyway.
Atlanta area Tech.
Hey, that's a tough school, but yeah, like I said, the people that say that they forget. Okay, you gotta remember, Clemson's the #1 team in the country. They beating everybody right now anyway. So we don't know how the rest of the season gonna go, but right, like I said, that was just a test to see that where we were at.
If Clemson running to North Carolina, they're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, that's true. And then, like you said, Boston College, that's one of them hard-nosed teams. They always known for defense and running the football. They're not really a passing team, but Smash Mouth, that's their kind of style. That they've been like that for a few years now.
Yeah, like Boston College haven't thrown the ball for real since number 12 left that school.
Exactly.
And he came to Atlanta and came number 2. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, gotta put some respect on that name.
but guys, just give him time, man. Just give Collins time. All right, let's get to the upcoming games. Georgia had a bye last week, so they didn't play anybody, but they played. Sorry, sneeze. They play Kentucky this Saturday at noon. That game will come on CBS or the SEC network. Georgia State plays Coastal Carolina this week, and that game's also at noon on the ESPNU channel. And Georgia Southern plays South Alabama tomorrow night. All right, at 7:30, and that game's coming on ESPN. That's gonna be kind of a, what's to watch, Falcons or Southern? Gotta weigh out the options right now. But hey, and the game that we're talking about tonight, Georgia Tech plays Notre Dame this Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon. That game will be televised on ABC. All right, so Tech right now is facing the fourth best team in the nation after coming off two consecutive horrific losses. How you think? We're not making predictions right now. We just saying like overall, like what do they need to do for us offense and defense? Starting with you, KStylz.
Offensively, I think Jahmyr Gibbs gonna have to be a vocal point on the offense because you're gonna need some kind of. You're gonna have to play fast or try to. And like I said, and another thing is the turnovers. The turnovers has killed us all season so far. Like I said, Notre Dame ain't number 4 in the nation. They ain't number 4 in the nation for a reason. Like I said, and like I said, with them being in the ACC for the first time this year, hey, like I said, you just got to be on all P's and Q's, and you have to tackle. You have to tackle because them tight ends at Notre Dame is something special. I don't know what it is about y'all and them tight ends, but every year y'all got at least 2 of them coming out.
Yep, every year.
So like I said, they just have to be on their P's and Q's. Don't be afraid of Notre Dame, the name of Notre Dame, and just play your game. Like I said, you win, you lose, you lose. But we don't need a 73-7 blowout again. We don't need that no more.
You gotta make it close, man. You gotta make it close.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what I say on that. Like I said, they have to be more. Like I said, Jordan Mason is cool, but Jahmyr Gibbs' speed is going to really dictate how this team is going to really attack Notre Dame. So I'm just leave it at that.
Right. Now, another question I need to propose to you, Connor. Ian Book. Will this be Ian Book's game to get Heisman voters to consider him to be the guy?
I think that's I don't know about a Heisman. I mean, I think he started the season off way too slow. At that point, I think before last week he had 3 passing touchdowns in the first 4 games. That's been Notre Dame's biggest problem on offense has been the passing game. It took a step in the right direction last week against Pitt. He had 3 touchdown passes, had a season high in passing yards, but he could very well do that again this week. But I think, just 4 games into an already shortened season, he's already, started off so slow. Even if he does have a Trevor Lawrence type game, which I don't see happening, even if he did that, he would be still pretty behind the curve, and he wouldn't play much of the second half if that happened. So, but I think this is a big game for him, though, just as far as him and the entire pass game, just because they have struggled so much. They've been so inconsistent at receiver. They lost Chase Claypool. He's balling in Pittsburgh right now, and he was the security blanket last year. And right now, we don't have one. We've had guys injured. And we're still searching. I think, this week might even be a week. I think we see Jordan Johnson, who's a 5-star freshman. He's a true freshman. Hasn't seen the field yet this year, but I think he's kind of working his way up there. He's definitely a guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get him involved maybe, but they're still kind of searching for guys to just get open outside. And that's another thing is, Book he's only thrown 1 interception, and it was in week 1 against Duke. I mean, he hasn't turned the ball over, but at the same time, the play calling and his play hasn't been aggressive either. No, not a lot of deep shots. Last week, which was kind of encouraging, they actually threw the ball downfield and they got some big plays from it. Before that, it was kind of non-existent in our offense. Everything was, 3-yard crossers and, boots and trying to find our tight ends or swing passes to our running backs, and it just wasn't a whole lot of creativity in the passing game. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that this week and just try to build off last week in the pass game, kind of moving forward. Because if Notre Dame wants to beat Clemson or, compete in the college football playoff, whatever it may be, they can't do it as a one-dimensional offense. That's just not something that they can bank on.
Okay. All right. What's your thoughts on that, KStylz?
I mean, I put nothing against Ian Book only because he, like you said, he is capable of having that type of game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, especially with how aggressive our defense is. Our defense tend to be very aggressive, but they like to bite on routes real quickly.
Right.
So his thing is get it. If he gets it to his playmakers, we'll probably be in trouble. I'm scared of that Notre Dame running game though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you were talking about Boston College just being a ground and pound team, and and they play good defense. I'm just thinking Notre Dame's just a better version of that.
Exactly.
So I mean, they're definitely going to lean on the run. I mean, they're probably 60-40 run pass, and I mean, Kyron Williams is a sophomore. He's got over 520 yards already through 5 games, and Chris Tyree was he's a true freshman. He's a 5-star. He's their speed guy. He's getting a good amount of touches. So, and then like you said about the tight ends, Michael Mayer is a true freshman. The dude's 19 years old. He's 6'4", 250, and his nickname is Baby Gronk. I mean, if he was draft eligible this year, he'd be tight end 1 or 2. I mean, just he can do things that a true freshman shouldn't be doing in a Power 5 football team, and I think he's on his role in the offense is only going to grow, and so I think they're going to get him involved, and hopefully that'll open stuff up on the outside. And that's the thing is Notre Dame hasn't done a great job of winning those 50-50 balls that Chase Claypool and Miles Boykin did the last 2 or 3 years for Book. So, and I think an aggressive defense. I mean, Louisville's defense was super aggressive, and they held Notre Dame to 12 points. I mean, that they kind of had a recipe that worked. I mean, the first, I think they had 4 or 5 sacks. I mean, then Book gets happy feet. Nothing can develop. He scrambles. That's one of his Achilles heels. Is he gets that happy feet. He wants to run around and just try to make a play. And if that starts happening, then the offense has no rhythm. And then you just got to lean on the defense. And so that was Louisville's plan, and it worked for him. And so that's interesting because I know, especially a young defense like that in Georgia Tech, they're just flying around and using those guys like that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what they do, or if Notre Dame's expecting that, and if they're going to game plan for it. And that'll be kind of a little chess match there.
All right, man. And there's something else, man, about Notre Dame and Notre Dame players when they go to Pittsburgh and they just ball. I noticed that.
Yeah, it was last week. I mean, if Georgia Tech wants to win, they just need to watch Pittsburgh offense and do the exact opposite. I mean, Notre Dame's got the number. They're giving 95 rush yards a game, the number 7 run defense in the country. They're top 10 in just about every defensive category. And so in Pittsburgh, I think they ran the ball maybe 1 or 2 times in the first quarter. They were trying to throw it and it just wasn't working. And then when they ran the ball, they just ran into a wall. They weren't having any success there and just kept punting, giving Notre Dame the ball, and it just it kind of got out of hand real quickly. So I think Georgia Tech, especially on offense, they just got to find ways to. I will talk about that. Just their offense needs to be creative and just find ways to to get the ball in their playmakers' hands.
Yeah, like I said, I'll agree to that. Like I said, I think with Jeff Sims, like I said, he'll have to start off by getting in a rhythm. He's going to have to get some swing passes, some screens. Like I said, get Gibbs involved early. Like I said, then it'll open up for a Malachi Carter, Jalen Camp, and them boys right there. Because you have to remember, Camp is still one of them. He's still one of them Paul Johnson players. So
yeah, exactly.
He's kind of adjusting to this as well. Because like I said, as long as he gets into a rhythm and don't turn the ball over, it'll be a closer game than it looks. But like I said, once he get to that point when they start turning the ball over, I know early in the season they would turn the ball over in the red zone. They would get down in the red zone, but they'll turn it over.
Yeah.
Like I said, these past 2 games kind of showed you that, like with these high-powered teams, and like I said, Notre Dame is still a high-powered team. You can't turn the ball over against them. They're gonna make you pay.
Mhm.
At the end, like you said, Ian Book might have he might have an outstanding game. He might not. Don't give him too many opportunities to have that great game.
All right. Now, Notre Dame hasn't been battle tested yet. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that. Now, I'm been speculating that if Coach Kelly, been overlooking this game to look at Clemson. What are your thoughts on that, Connor?
Yeah, I think as far as the first, 3, 4, 4 or 5 weeks, Notre Dame hasn't played a ranked team yet. Their closest game was Louisville, where they kind of had to. I mean, they were down 7-6 in the third quarter and kind of had to pull it out, or early in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I think there's some merit to that. This kind of feels like it could be one of those trap game kind of things, and just like before a team plays a really good team the next week or before they have a bye week, a team will sometimes that trap game kind of falls into it. They're looking forward to either looking ahead or looking forward to having a week off, and it could just be a bad game. And it's funny because Brian Kelly last week he said, he wants to start developing the mindset of the team to where just going out and winning the game isn't good enough. It's going out and kind of sending a message. And he even said in that quote, he said, and looking ahead a little bit, like looking at ahead at how good they can be. And I think that was maybe kind of a reference to just realizing that they have the potential to beat Clemson, or just they kind of have to have that confidence in themselves that maybe they lost after that Louisville game when it was a dogfight with a team that gave up almost 50 points to Georgia Tech. So I think there's some merit in that. I'd like to think that this team is, I mean, for all 5 offensive linemen are upperclassmen. The majority of the DBs are returners and older guys. Ian Book's a 5th-year quarterback. I mean, you'd like to think that a team that has that kind of those returners, that leadership, that that kind of thing wouldn't happen. But I mean, it's a possibility for sure, especially like I said, Notre Dame Clemson, the rematch. I mean, that's going to be the game everyone's going to talk about. But so that could be good or bad. Notre Dame could take that as they're looking towards the Clemson game, or they can take it as this game needs to be the game where last week we dominated, this week we dominate again, and we go into next week, full throttle ahead. So it can go either way. Just because of the experience of the team, I think it'll, lean more towards they should be able to play a good game. But, I mean, it's college football. Trap games, it's a real thing. So anything can happen. And like one last thing, it's only their second road game of the year. Well, Pitt was their first road game last year. Their first 4 games were all home, and they had a 2-week bye week in between the USF and FSU games. So this is the first time this year they've played consecutive road games. So that's just something else to maybe just note.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the predictions. Everybody who listening, if you're in the chat right now, go ahead and put your predictions for this game. If you're watching this at a later time, hey, hit us up in the comment section. You got from now to Wednesday or Saturday afternoon to let us know your predictions, and we'll like your comment, and we'll also chime in and reply to your comment as well. Starting with you, Connor. Give us the prediction for the game.
I think last week was a big step forward for the offense. I mean, the defense has been playing really well all year, and I think last week was encouraging. Just looking at how they scored their points and throwing the ball and getting it downfield, and I think because that's what they need to do that if they want to have a chance against Clemson. So I think this week they're really going to try to stress that, and they're still going to lean on the run game. I mean, that's still their bread and butter. And the defense is, they're fast. They're, they got NFL caliber guys at all three levels, and I think they're just gonna, kind of take advantage of that Georgia Tech offense that's been struggling. And my prediction for the game is 48-10. I mean, I think that Georgia, I think it might be, maybe that first quarter may be a little, 7-0 or 7-3, something like that. But I think just over the course of the game, Notre Dame will just wear on them and eventually just kind of, get that lead and then just ride the game out. That's how I kind of see it happening.
Okay. All right. KStylz.
48-10. Hey,
Yeah.
you just basically said we ain't got no chance in hell for this one.
I don't think no. I'm not saying no 73-0 or 73-7.
Yeah. As long as it ain't that, we good. But
Yeah.
if I look at it realistically, like I said, I'll give Notre Dame about 44. About Georgia Tech probably be 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, Notre Dame has that experience.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you in that role for that national title, boy, you can't take no games lightly out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I said, you could be playing against DeVry University. You can't take that game serious.
But and the same thing too. I mean, like I said, it's college football. Anything can happen. I mean, the FSU game is a good example of that. I mean, FSU is not a very good football team. They may be a little bit ahead. Even I know Georgia Tech beat them this year, but they're both kind of in that rebuild, new coach. They're weeding out those guys and trying to establish their identity. Notre Dame came out, fumbled on the first possession. FSU gets a field goal out of it. Their offense was clicking, but then later on in the second quarter, they muff a punt. FSU scores, and it's halftime and it's a one possession game. Late in the third quarter, it's a 16-point game. Notre Dame missed a field goal. So I mean FSU scored on a long touchdown pass that Notre Dame, they haven't given up many long plays through the air. Last week, Pitt, their quarterback, overthrew what would have been a long touchdown. He was wide open. Our safety bid on it. So I mean, the recipe is there. I mean, that stuff can happen. And Notre Dame isn't prone to turning it over, but you never know. I mean, a tip pass, I mean, who knows? It could go either way. So, but I think Brian Kelly, I think he's going to really stress just this game is a game where we put our foot on the pedal and try to just kind of hone everything in. And I think for Georgia Tech, it'll be try to bank it on big plays and like you said with a true freshman quarterback is building his confidence, even if it's screens, swing passes, I mean running the ball a little bit, a little bit of everything, and just kind of using this game, even if it is a loss, I mean I think you could still build on that going forward. And this could be, I mean, no moral victories don't show up in the stat sheet or anything, but you keep it to a two possession game or where you're in it, in the third quarter or something. I mean, that could be huge for their confidence going forward, especially for a young team. So, and underdogs have nothing to lose, man. I mean, they could come out running a trick play every series. I mean, who knows? So, it'll be a fun game. I'm excited about it. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech is always a good game. They haven't played in down in Atlanta since 2006, and that crazy game with Brady Quinn and Calvin Johnson. And so I'm excited about it. It should be a lot of fun.
Well, my prediction for the game, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Boston College, 42. Georgia Tech, 17. I just, Tech's defense is not going to stop that offense. It just not. It ain't gonna be like a massacre like Clemson, but they will be able to make some stops here and there. But as far as keeping up with the score, like we're not gonna put that many points up on Notre Dame defense. So that's my prediction. Other than that, hey, I guess that's it, man. Can't wait to Saturday, see what actually go down. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah,
Cause we on ABC. Oh yeah, at least get some national exposure.
Yep.
I will say too, I'd like to see I want Notre Dame to win, obviously, but I went to Niceville High School, so I know Wanye, and I hope, I'm rooting for him. I hope he has a good game, and it'll be cool to watch him play against my, Notre Dame. I've always been a fan of, and he played the year after me when I was there, or 2 years maybe. But yeah, he's having a good season so far, and him and Carpenter are kind of an underrated safety duo in my opinion. I think that what they can do athletically is really good, and I think that they could have themselves a good game too. With as much as Notre Dame's going to be passing the ball, so it could be a good game for both of them to have, put some numbers on the stat sheet too.
Right. All right. Well, hey, Connor, man, appreciate you coming on again. Once again, before we leave, let everybody know who you are, where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I had so Twitter, just Coach Junk Coach Junk _UC. And then I write and contribute to slapthesign.com, and that Twitter handle is in my Twitter bio for that page and that website. So that's where all my stuff goes, talking Notre Dame football. And yeah, had a great time tonight, talking. Like I said, it should be a fun game, and kind of looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Appreciate you coming on. Also, KStylz, man, one more time, man, let everybody know where they can find you.
They can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all platforms, just KStylz. Like I said, also Atlanta Falcons Nation, Mad Mike Sports, ATL Sports Zone, Lush Exchange. Hey, we try to cover everything we can get.
Yeah.
Hey, we try to be like these folks. We try to be like these boys right here. Both of them.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm talking to you too, Connor. But appreciate having us both on.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all coming on. Once again, hey, if y'all new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics. And hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you thinking about the game. Let us know how you feel about the game this Saturday. All right. We'll be back tomorrow night during halftime and after the game, hopefully, for the Falcons and Panthers game. So just check us out tomorrow. On that note, we'll see y'all later. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. Y'all have a great night.
Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up.